How's it going, Minnesota? Data here, and welcome back to the Minnesota Wild Franchise Mode, Episode 9 here, as we're beginning the 2022 offseason, coming off of a sad 7-game loss in round number 1 to the eventual Stanley Cup champion Chicago Blackhawks. It was a good series, but the Blackhawks really just went on a tear after taking us down. It was a tough 7-game series for them. Swept Dallas, took out the Jets in 5, and then a 7-game thriller for the Cup against the Sabres. It was a 91-point season from Kirill Kaprizov, who's now up to an 89 overall. It was point per game in the playoffs from our trade deadline pickups, Kovalchuk and Bergeron. The big boys coming through as well. Monahan, Sergachev, Parise, Lindholm we're going to have questions on in this offseason. We have a lot of questions about a lot of expiring contracts. Phil Danault, Mike Hoffman, do we move him? Nick Bonino, Fred Gauthier as well. And it's going to be an interesting one here in this offseason. In year number 1, we won the Stanley Cup, and we didn't quite have a dynasty at that point. We just had a team that came together and played super well. In the first offseason, we had a little bit of a retooling. Hoffman stuck around. The team wasn't too different. It was more the defense that changed a lot heading into year number 2. But now in this season, I think we're going to have more of an overhaul, specifically in the bottom 6. It's going to be a complete overhaul there, most likely. So we got some comments to go over in this one. Josh Grandy was saying Kovalchuk is a cheat code. Yes, he is. 8 points in 7 games for us in the playoffs, and in the regular season when he came at the deadline, he was performing. The 2021 Conn Smythe champion. It's going to be sad to say goodbye to him for a second time now. A suggestion here from Boomba Doomba. He said, go ahead and watch list all the players that we trade away that have potential, like Alvin Burrows, who we traded to the Flames in the Elias Lindholm deal. So I think we're going to do that so we can keep note of how they grow. We traded him when he was a 49 overall. He's now a 52 overall. So just to keep note of that, if he grows, if it was a good trade because he becomes a bust, or if maybe in retrospect it's not so good of a trade if he really develops into an elite player. I love the comments here from River Viper and then from Apple coming up that have a little spoiler bubble here. Love those comments. No spoilers in the comments. Beautiful. Too bad it didn't go as planned. Maybe next year. Congratulations to Chicago, though. Could not say it better myself than Apple. Spoiler alert. Big block. Great video once again, Data. Thank you very much, Apple. Always very nice words from him. And then at the bottom he says, you should trade Kakinen. Now we're going to get into the suggestions. He is lower overall than Peterson, and even though he is a couple years younger, without good performances and lots of play time, he isn't going to grow much. You can get something back for him. Let Hunter Jones grow. He's young. He can grow up to be a good goalie. Mikey also talking about the goalies here. He says dangle Elvis and somebody else, maybe one of the prospects, to get higher in the draft because he's not a good goalie to go with. Maybe sign somebody in free agency or run with the 2 that you have. So we'll have to figure it out. That's an interesting option. I hadn't really thought of going with Peterson and Kakinen. I thought it was going to be Elvis starting for sure, backed up by Peterson or Kakinen, but we still have a few more suggestions to get through here. Joel the Juice left a couple comments here. I'll go over the YouTube comment first, then his Discord comment. He says it's going to be a huge offseason because we're losing a lot of players to free agency. Chara retired, Kovalchuk, Bonino, Danault, Hoffman, and possibly Bergeron all gone. Got to retool the bottom 6, and you got to go for guys who have good chemistry. I wouldn't touch goaltending yet. I honestly think you can run a Peterson-Elvis tandem and then reevaluate at the deadline or all-star break. I also don't think that you have the assets to trade up much in the draft. What I don't understand is why you need to return Lindholm to Calgary. He's a great second liner for you. So I'll just take a pause quickly here to say that for anyone who's watching, we're going to trade Elias Lindholm back to Calgary, kind of because we felt back. We took Monahan from them in year 1. In year 2, we took Lindholm from them. And so I really felt like we were just destroying the Flames, and it wasn't super realistic. But now transitioning over to the Discord server, where Jukesy continued on that point. Discord link down in the description if you want to get in on the discussions here. He says, I understand you want to restore order on their team, but they traded him to you, and it's their fault if they're not good. It's not like you abused the trade value system or anything in order to get him. That's true. We did not abuse the trade value system. You gave them an elite prospect, an already established NHL forward, and picks for an established second-line winger. That's a good deal for both teams. That's fair. We didn't take advantage of the broken trade value, which has since been fixed. We gave them an elite prospect. We gave them Joel Eriksson-Ek, who was a top 6 potential forward, 83, 84 overall. They wanted to enter a retool and get rid of some of their players, and you wanted to build a team looking for a cup. I just don't think flipping him back to Calgary, or dishing him at all for that matter, is the right move. He's a very good flexible player who can play center and wing, has a good cap, and still 2 years on his deal. and fits that second line perfectly. I wouldn't move him. Lines-wise, line 1 is fine. You just need to figure out if you will run with Lindholm at center or the wing, and then put Fiala, hopefully Rossi with him. We'll have to see what happens over there. At the end, Juxi states his philosophy. We make suggestions, you make decisions, you do what you think is the right move. The idea of what we could possibly get in return for Lindholm is also very tempting, to be honest. You are the GM after all. Juxi, I may be the GM, but you are the GEM. What a gem Joel Lit Jukes is. Thank you for those suggestions, and it's true. Lindholm, I had suggested trading him back. I hadn't really gotten any backlash on that, so I thought that was the route we were going to take. But now reading this comment makes me think that a bit further. Maybe Lindholm and Monahan, the Calgary boys, are going to stick together here on Minnesota. And now looking at the last comment of this one on the Discord server, and speaking of gems, it's another one from Hobbsy. Buckle up, boys. This is going to be a long one. You can pause and read this. I'm going to try to skim through it as much as possible. He says, forwards in, Kaprizov, Monahan, Fiala, Greenway, Parise, Rossi. We're talking about the entire forward core. Forwards out, Hoffman, Bonino, Danault, Kovalchuk, Sanford, unknown, Lindholm, Bergeron, and Boldy. He talks a little bit about the possibility of what's going on with Lindholm. If we were to keep him, one of Parise, Fiala, Greenway, or Rossi get bumped to the third line. If Lindholm doesn't come, then they all stay in the top 6. But it's a decision that will have to be made before free agency. Sprinkling a little bit of draft talk in here. Ritzi at 5. Let me just go and open up this for a second. Ritzi at 5 would be interesting. I think trading up would be a good idea. However, I'm not sure the value is there for you to be able to trade up. A possible trade combo would be Lindholm, Elvis, along with picks, prospects, and even then, I'm not sure it gets done. To be honest, unless the 5th or the 4th or the 5th overall pick is up for trade, like on the trading block, that's not going to happen. And that's if we're trading Lindholm. And even if we're not trading Lindholm, then it's definitely not going to be able to happen. Alternatively, you could try and keep Lindholm and Bergeron and take another run with the team mostly the same from last year with a little bottom 6 revamping. On the back end, you're pretty much set. Chara's retired. He'll have to be replaced. Votter's in the top 4. Merrill's in the third pair. No big deal there. In net, is Elvis really the guy anymore? He did seem to struggle down the stretch, and maybe it's worth exploring a trade, either replacing him in free agency or rolling with a Peterson-Kakkonen tandem. They're both locked up for a couple of years at insanely cheap deals. Could be worth looking into. If you decide to hold on to Elvis, then one of Kakkonen or Peterson has to go to get Jones to start in the AHL. I'd also suggest if there's any big ticket free agent available that fits the chemistry and you have the money, I'd go for it. Superstars are always nice to have. All in all, you're the GM data. You do what you believe is best for the team, and we will support you. These are just some really long suggestions. Go wild. I may be the GM, but without comments like these, we would not be able to have the kind of fun, interactive, and immersive series that we do here. So, as always, thank you very much to Hobbsy for that very nice comment, and all of you for all of your other comments as well. I have notes in front of me right here. I write down every comment. I address them all, whether in replies or in the Discord, whether it be in YouTube replies or in the Discord server. So let's just hop into this. I know that was a really long intro. It might be a long off season, but we do have big decisions to make. So my plan heading into this off season is that I think I want to keep Elvis and Peterson for now when we're talking about the goaltending. If a change needs to be made, we can make it, like Juxi said, around the All-Star break or trade deadline. If Elvis is not playing well, Peterson can come in. But if Peterson is not playing well, we can just get a new backup. It would be easier to trade for a new backup, let's say if Peterson took over Elvis's role, if need be, than to trade for a starter if we were to trade away Peterson and Elvis is not playing well and Kakkonen can't be the starter. You kind of follow what I'm saying? So it would be easier to roll with Elvis and make a change from there than to trade Elvis now and then still be faced with a problem if our goaltending is not doing well. So I think trading Kakkonen is the move to keep Peterson and Elvis. They're on very nice contracts as well. Elvis is signed up for a few more years. That would carry us into when our goalie prospects are ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more years at 3.525. 3 more years at 0.85 for Cal Peterson. Both of that starter potential. So great contracts. And they will carry us into when our prospects are ready to go, whether it be Hunter Jones, Jesper Wallstedt, or what's his first name? Maxim Morozov. So no matter who becomes our starter down the road, I'm hoping Elvis can be the guy who transitions us into that, or maybe even Peterson. In a perfect world, we wouldn't have to change our goaltending for a little bit. But as we saw with Elvis, there were struggles. So we will not be afraid to change that early on next season if it becomes necessary. Or maybe if there's a huge free agent fish who wants like 3 years only and is elite and not too much money. Because we can't sign someone for 6 or 7 years because those prospects are going to be ready to go. If a big name wants a 3-4 year deal, maybe that's an option. When it comes to trading at the draft, I don't think that can be possible to trade up. I don't think we have the assets. We'll try if there are picks on the block. But aside from that, we're going to try to trade Hoffman, Bonino, Sanford, Danault, Kovalchuk, just for anything we can get, any picks from any team. Just trade their rights away because we know that they're not coming back. And for Bergeron, I'm not going to trade his rights at the deadline because I'm still not sure if we're going to re-sign him. But the problem is the lineup. Where would he fit? Because here's an idea of what my perfect lineup is next season at the moment. First line, Kaprizov, Monahan, Greenway. I want Greenway in the top 6. He fits the first line, and I want him to try and to begin to grow more. Second line, Fiala, Rossi, Lindholm. Now, if Rossi is still a third line center, then that means Bergeron can fill in at second line. But if Rossi is like 84, 85 overall at the start of next season, that means Bergeron could not be playing second line. Rossi needs those minutes. So at the moment, my idea is to not re-sign Bergeron. Third line, we have Boldy, question mark, and Parise. Parise, I want to keep him, but unfortunately, I can't keep him on the first line. I know he's gotten like back-to-back 70-point seasons on that first line, but he is 37, going on 38, so I'd rather the young guys get the ice time, and hopefully he can still find a spot on the third. Fourth line, complete question marks. On defense, we're pretty much set just for whoever's going to play on the third pair with Merrill, and for goalies, Elvis and Peterson. As Jukesy noted in the Discord server, Parise is making a lot of money, but the only reason that we're worried about him is because of his age. If he was a younger guy putting up numbers like that, we wouldn't be concerned. So we'll evaluate the cost of Bergeron if he wants to re-sign, how much money that would leave us going into free agency. I don't think he's coming back, I really don't, but I'm going to keep him just to see if something could work out. So with that insanely long introduction over with and all the ideas of how we're going to deal with this offseason taken care of, let's hop into the draft. Sorry for the long, drawn-out introduction, but it's just part of the process here when we're trying to build a dynasty. So only the third overall pick. Only 3 and 8 are on the block here, so if Ritzi's going at 4 or 5, it would be tougher to get those than the third overall pick. Just to show you the trade value here, if we were to trade, let's say we throw in our second round pick this season, which I wouldn't want. You know what? I wouldn't even want to throw in my second. I'll give you my first round pick next year. Even if I give you Elvis as well. And then rookie skaters, we don't really have much to give away. I like all these prospects. They've been growing nice. There's no reason for me to dump them. If I traded anyone, it would be like Connor Dewar. So I could throw Dewar in there. And then if I threw the rights of some players, I can give you the rights to Danault, I can give you the rights to Bonino, and there we go. Trade value is in our favor, but when you press it here, it says the value isn't there whatsoever. So when they say the value is not there whatsoever, that means you're really not close, and you got to get a lot more value in there, and I don't see the value. Like, we could take out Bonino and even put our second round pick this season, and I don't think it would, like, even look at the trade bars, still it's quite fair, but you're not where you need to be in value offered. So I don't think that's going to happen for the third overall pick. We're going to go ahead and start simulating through the draft. The first overall pick is going to be that medium franchise power forward, and there he is, left wing, 82 overall, Nicholas Engvist, over to the Islanders. Eesh. This guy is going to tear up the NHL. Sheesh. Second overall pick is Shane Wright to the St. Louis Blues, medium elite, of course. Third overall pick is Brad Lambert, 76 overall, medium elite, to the Predators. And the LA Kings at number 4 take Xavier Reardon, 65 overall, high top 6 power forward. I don't know about that pick with Ritzi still on the board. So just one last time to show you, if we were to try to trade for that 5th overall pick, offering what we had just offered to Nashville. There we go, like that. The Sharks would say, isn't very interesting, doesn't meet our block needs all that well, and the value isn't there whatsoever. With a first, a second, a starting goalie, and the rights to Danault, plus a somewhat decent prospect. So, unfortunately, it's just not going to happen, guys. I really wanted to get Ritzi, but he is 79 overall, medium elite left wing playmaker at 18 years of age. He's going to be a great prospect. I love a good winger playmaker. Yeah, he's going to be good, but unfortunately not there. The value is not there to trade up. If we were to trade up again, it would be like pick number 8 or something. Let's see who's available at pick 8. Matthew Savoie goes there. Gaucher goes to the Devils. At pick number 8, Mika Tarki is here. He was going to go 6 or 7, and now he's here at 8. Medium elite, two-way defenseman. 17 years of age, 1 year away, similar to Brent Burns. 6'5", big boy. Size and skill, shutdown ability, heavy slap shot. I would love to get Mika Tarki. But again, I don't think the value's there. If I give you my first next season, my second right now, with Marcus Johansson, Phil Danault, and Dewar, they say, oh my goodness, it was accepted. Okay. So that's just such a classic. That's such a classic where things just go differently than we always have planned. Okay, so Marcus Johansson, I totally forgot about how he was going to be. I thought he was going to play third line, but that's so right. On my graphic that I just put up on the screen, he wasn't even on the third line. He would have been playing fourth line, and we couldn't put him on the fourth line. He's too good for that, so we had to trade him, and that makes sense right there. We also moved Phil Danault's rights. We moved Connor Dewar, and we get the 8th overall selection, and now we can go and select a guy who is going to go 6th, maybe 7th. He drops all the way to 8. Well, all the way. He drops to 8. We go ahead and select him here. 17 years old, from the SHL, the Finnish defenseman, 6'5". He's a unit, and he is 75 overall, medium elite. Wow. Was not expecting that. Oh, goodness. 3-star defense. 3.5-star skating. See, he has the build of a defensive defenseman, but he's a two-way guy. Not great for chemistry, but hey, I'd rather trade a first and a second and random picks for this guy who's going to have a ton of trade value and move him down the road than just make picks on guys that I don't need. And the good thing is, actually, that second round pick, it had a lot of value, but I was looking earlier at the draft board. There was no one I was really interested in at that point. So I'm happy to move it to get Mika Tarki. Wow. Out of nowhere. Drops from 6 to 8. They went with Gaucher over Tarki, and he drops to 8, and Philadelphia trades us their pick. So Marcus Johansson, thank you for your service here on the Wild. You're off to Philadelphia, along with Connor Dewar, who was a decent prospect with a top 9 potential. I don't think he was really going to grow. And as well, the rights to Phil Danault will go there as well. Speaking of rights to players, we might as well try to trade the rest of the rights of the players that we want to move for whatever else, whether garbage we can get. Nick Bonino, we could get a 7th round pick. Yeah, let's see if I can, Dubnik, let's see if I can couple a few of them together here. No, it's telling me no trades found when I do that, so I'll have to trade them individually. Nick Bonino, we can get a 7th, Devin Dubnik, 7th, Brett Kulak. What's Brett Kulak's overall? He could play third pair D, right? Brett Kulak, he's 78 overall, and he fits the third D pairing maybe. You know what? He might not even play at all, but he's worth trading Nick Bonino for. Why not? Thank you very much, Mr. Bergevin, because I'd rather get Brett Kulak, a possible third pair D, or even depth, than just a 7th round pick on a guy that becomes nothing. Zach Sanford up next here. What else can we get? 7th, Dubnik, 7th. All the same offers pretty much. A goalie with low backup potential now. It's okay. 212. Yeah, 212 is the best offer. Off to the Coyotes, Zach Sanford is for the 212th overall selection. Thank you very much, Coyotes. Ilya Kovalchuk up next. No trades found. Okay, so I guess probably due to the cap or something, right? Ooh, I hope Hoffman's going to move. Will Hoffman move? No. Oh, yeah. That's not good because of the money. Let's simulate Ottawa's pick here. They take the medium top 6 forward, Potter. If we were to trade Patrice Bergeron, we can get a 6th and a 7th. Pretty much a 5th and a 7th. So it's not the money, it's just the value. Nobody wants Kovalchuk or Hoffman, unfortunately. Julius Honka did not want to re-sign with us, so maybe it would be a good idea if we dumped him at this point. Get Alex Steen, 7th round picks as well. I don't think he's an RFA, right? I think he'd be a UFA, so it would probably be a good idea if we dumped him. Because I liked him. He fit well with chemistry, but he doesn't want to come back, so no point just losing him for nothing. What's Alex Steen's chemistry like here? Could he be a 4th liner for us next season? I'm already thinking about the bottom 6 here. Alex Steen, he's 38 years old. He fits the 1st line. No, that doesn't bode well then for a 4th line fit. 216 is probably the highest pick then. No, 214. There we go. To Winnipeg. Yeah, we'll trade him off to the Winnipeg Jets for the 214th overall selection. And now we got to trade Kakinen as well. Capo Kakinen. Does anyone want Kakinen? He's on a great deal. Yeah. More 7th. Only one trade from the Oilers. 7th round pick next season. All right. Kakinen, you've been a great backup here, but I cannot afford to keep you any longer. I want you to go play on a team that will give you ice time, so good luck and all the best over in Edmonton. 7th round pick for him. Fred Gauthier said that he didn't want to re-sign either, so we might as well move him. 2/7, 260, 204. Actually, just do I take 202 or do I take 2 7th round picks? I'd rather take 2 7ths, I think. I'll take 216 and a 7th next season. Yeah, instead of 217. Yeah, off to Buffalo, Fred Gauthier is. Thank you very much, Fred. 2 7th round picks for him. Simulate Edmonton's pick here. They take medium top 6 forward Huskins. This defenseman who is ranked 9 just keeps dropping a little bit. So I'm very curious. I wonder if Tarki would have continued to drop as well. If Philadelphia had taken a forward, and Ottawa and Edmonton also took forwards, maybe I could have gotten him at 11 from Boston. But Boston didn't want to trade their pick, so that's true. Philadelphia wanting to move their pick was the key in that trade. So yeah, no teams wanting to take Mike Hoffman is a real problem, making $7.85 million for the next couple seasons. Yeah, I don't know why his value I understand his value being low, but I don't know why it's that low. So I guess that's it for now. We'll let Kovalchuk walk, which will free up more money. But Hoffman will, unfortunately, we'll have to take care of him on July 1st. Bruins, do they take that defenseman now? They do. High top 60 offensive defenseman. So our next pick is all the way at pick 92. So we got to make sure there's no one that we're passing over who we really want to select. So I'll take a second and go scout out the class for any guys in like the 50s or 60s or 70s that we might want. So there are some interesting options in the 70s or so. We got 2 bars low elite, 2 bar medium top 6, 2 bar low elite gem, Robert Raakel. 2 bar top 6, 2 bar top 4D, 2 bar elite. So it's interesting around the 78 area here. Torsten Svensson might be an interesting possibility. 5 years away though, 5'8", 2-wave, nah. But I am tempted by Robert Raakel, the gem, at 74. Because if we wait until our pick at 92, there isn't much going on here. We got a low top 4D perhaps, defensive defenseman. 2 bar medium starter, 2 bar low elite later on. 2 bar medium elite Jamie Toms. There's a 3 bar low top 6 around 118. We do have a lot of 7th round picks because of those trades, so we could use the 3rd plus some of those 7ths to move up to draft the guy with 2 bars medium elite, or do we keep the gem 2 bar low elite, or do we keep our selection and take the guy who's 3 bars low top 4D? I think I'd rather go for the forward, to be honest, so I'm going to try to make that trade happen. So we got picks 214, 15, 16, as well as 210 and 212, so we'll try to move 92 plus 3 7ths, or you know what, maybe even just 2 7ths, I don't know, to the Ducks. No, they don't want to do that. 3 7ths, still not sufficient at all, understandable, they're just a bunch of garbage 7ths. Try with 4 7th round picks, still rejected. So you know, I'll give you a 6th instead, and then I'll give you 2 7ths instead. A 6th and 2 7ths. Yeah, trade accepted. Thank you very much, Anaheim. It was to move up like 15 picks or so. So I understand why they didn't want to do that. No! He just went 1 pick earlier! Oh no. Was he gonna go? I think I totally bobbled that one. No, is he gonna go like 72? I thought he was gonna go at 78, so I traded for 75. Oh no, and he went to Calgary? Low top 6 sniper, 62 overall, Robert Raakel, a gem. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Look at all these guys. Low top 6, low top 6, low top 6, low top 6. It's just a bunch of low top 6 here in the 3rd round. This is Raquel's value. Could I try and trade for that prospect, please? I'll give you that 3rd round pick. Could I do this? Just the 3rd straight up for Raquel? Trade rejected. Come on, Calgary. And 2 7ths. Oh, there we go. And 2 7ths. Okay. All's well that ends well. All's well that ends well. Thanks, Calgary. Just costing a couple extra 7ths. So the rights to whatever players those would have been. I could have taken a 2 bar top 6 forward, 2 bar medium elite forward, but I didn't want Svensson. Oh, that could have been a big disaster. And they took a medium top 9 forward. How do you like that? And we'll just go to pick 208. Let's just call this draft a day. There's a lot of good players, I'm sure. We did a lot of scouting throughout the season, all for it to go for nothing pretty much. But let's just see who has potential here at the end of the draft. 2 bars low elite, perhaps. 2 bars medium top 6. Any 3 bars of anybody? 2 bars low top 6, 2 bars medium top 4D. No 3 bar. Low bar, 3 bar low starter, Jonas Cook, ranked 986. Wow. You know what? I'll take him with my next pick maybe. But at the moment, might as well go for the 2 bar medium, 2 bar low elite Svensson here, Simon Svensson from Sweden. He is low top 9. Cool. And 210 with almost the last pick. Why not go for another goalie? This guy's 3 bars medium backup, which is a bit more of a guarantee. But that's a cool story. The guy was not even undrafted. The guy was never going to get drafted anytime soon with the 3 bar low starter potential at 986. From Sweden, Jonas Cook. He is low backup. Cool. And that's the end of the draft. So, wow, that was a really interesting draft as we took Tarki at 8 somehow. And then we missed out on Raakel, but then we traded for Raakel at 70 whatever. So that's like another pick that we had. And then Robertson and Cook in the 7th round. So we went from having a ton of picks to making 4 picks. And that was not the draft that I expected. So I'm a bit discombobulated. But nonetheless, we must press on. Coaching staff here. Popovich's contract is up. Popovich, I hope he still has a good team fit in next season. He still likes all the main guys, so yeah, I'll keep Popovich. I don't think there's any reason to let him go just yet. We'll give him exactly what he's looking for. I'll sign him for 5 years even, and hopefully he'll take that. Any other goalies? The assistant coach, René Levasseur. He wants to be an associate coach, but he's an assistant coach. We'll see if he'll take assistant coach before I start making all kinds of stuff for associate coach. Just offer him over $1 million, 1.1 mil to be assistant coach. Scouts, will re-sign all our scouts, but we might end up firing a bunch of them come July 1st when there's new generated scouts to get in the higher staff screen. All right, and here we go into the contracts. I don't think there's much to do here in the contracts. We got just about 20 million of cap space. So we go all expiring. Let's look at RFAs first. RFAs. Jaros, we got him off waivers, right? No, we signed him in free agency. Christian Jaros. I don't think he did anything special in Iowa. So, yeah, well, 4 points in 11 games. Bah, whatever. We'll probably let him go. I think I'll just resign Sarayarvi, Trepchenko, and maybe Volkov. I'll deal with that off screen. UFAs, Bergeron we'll see. Kovalchuk we're going to have to let go. He doesn't want to resign, and he wants about $4 million. We're not going to be able to afford that. More, there's no room in the lineup. Kulak does not want to resign. Kulak, I brought you up from the pit. You were going to play in Laval for the rest of your career. So I guess that's not going to happen. Wolinen, we got him off waivers. He had 5 assists in 19 games. He wants to resign. You know what? He wants $1 million. No, that's not going to happen. We want a one-way contract. Goodbye. Johnson, maybe. McCaution, maybe. Sturm, no. All our unsigned prospects, for sure, we're going to get them signed up. Unsigned, Mika Tarki, we will sign him so that he can play in Iowa. And with the goalies here, it's just Batty Bo. Batty Bo will probably let go because Jones can start. Wallstedt, Wallstedt's not good enough to be backup yet, I don't think. So we'll sign Batty Bo, and if Wallstedt or Morozov grows to be a backup for Iowa, we'll sign them at the beginning of next season. And by the way, Patrice Bergeron, at the moment, he wants 1 year, $7.3 million. So if he were to take 85% of that, that would be 6.250 or so. So like 6.225 or 6.250 for 1 year. It's not the cap that's the issue. It's more the where would he play that's the issue. So let's advance a day here. See if Kulak and all these people resign. Okay, bye Kulak. I traded you for nothing. Okay. I traded for you for nothing. Betty Bo's on board. Johnson, McCaution, Toropchenko, Volkov, Miletic, Tarki, O'Rourke, Novak, Hunt, Sayarvi. All fantastic. Don't need to give me any headaches. That just leaves Kulak here. Goodbye, Kulak. And RFAs, Jaros. I think I'm just going to let Jaros go. I'm not going to bother with him. Unsigned, we're all good to go. It's just Patrice Bergeron. So let's do the math here. If we need a new 4th line, a new 3rd line center, and a 3rd pair D, let's say the 3rd pair D costs 1.8. Let's say everyone on the 4th line costs 1.5, so times by 3, multiply by 3 plus the 1.8. And let's say the 3rd line center cost like 3.2. That gives us, that's 9.5. So 20.335 minus 9.5. That leaves us with 10.835 minus a 6.250 for Bergeron. We would still have 4.585 million for any other moves we would want to make. That's not bad at all with the cap, but again, it's just that I don't know where Bergeron would play. It really depends on Rossi. If Rossi is the third line center, we need a second line center, but that could just be Elias Lindholm actually. So maybe we don't need we need a winger, because if Rossi cannot play second line center and he plays third line center, that means Lindholm plays second line center and we need a new second line wing. That would probably be Parise up on the second line instead of on the third line. Then that means we need third line left wing, right wing. Marco Rossi, we really want him to play center. He has 73 faceoffs. We want him to grow as a centerman. He's a playmaker. So I want him to play. You know, the more I see it, the more I think he's going to be third line center. So I don't know, guys, because if Bergeron's second line center, Lindholm can play on the wing, Fiala on his left, but then Parise is playing third line with Rossi. We could get, it would be playmaker. We need a sniper on that third line, a good third line sniper. We get in free agency. I know I'm going to let the stars decide. I'm going to send Patrice Bergeron a 1-year, $6.250 million contract and see what he says. If he wants to come back to this team, he liked his time here, then he can do so. He's asking for 7.325. I'm not going to give that to him, but 85% brings us down to 6.250. So if he really wants to resign, he will take it. And like I said, I really wasn't sure if he was coming back. That's why I didn't trade his rights. But let's see what Patrice Bergeron said. Are you coming back for one more year in Minnesota, Patrice? What are you saying, budget? Owner mode is off, Popovich. Forget, we'll do that in a second. Patrice, okay, thank you, Levasseur. Patrice, your offer was not enough to entice me to come back to your franchise. Okay, I will send him a follow-up offer. But like I said, I'm not going to 7.3. I will send you a follow-up offer, Patrice. I will offer you 1 year at 6.5 million. So I have to send Popovich another contract as well. Advance a day. Patrice, your offer was not enough to entice me. So that's a game changer right there. I don't think he's going to come back then. It sounds like Lindholm will be our second line center instead, and Parise can play second line wing, and we'll get a third line left wing and right wing to play with Rossi. Popovich says we don't have the budget to sign him, even though there's no budget. So I might just have to let him go to a coach free agency or whatever and then sign him after that. Because I believe there was a glitch where the salary matters during the re-sign phase, but then as soon as July 1st hits, it does not matter anymore. I don't know. All right, final offer to Patrice Bergeron. I will offer you 1 year at 6.650. Final offer. If you don't take it, you're going to free agency. What do you say, Patrice? Not enough. Okay, we got to stand our ground. He's going to free agency. Stand our ground. I'd rather get a better star for that kind of money. Let's go into free agency. Popovich, you don't have the budget to sign me? No problem. Okay, July 1st has hit, and what I'm going to quickly do is re-sign Popovich, go through all the scouts to see if there's any new good scouts, fire, hire, all that stuff, and then we'll jump into free agency. All right, that's good to go. It was an overhaul on the scouting as we fired and are trying to hire 11 new, better-rated scouts. So looking forward to that. Here we go in free agency. Olofsson, Riley, Tkachuk, Malkin, Subban, Bergeron, Domi, Risto, Giordano, Kadri. Okay, sorting by overall here. Any interesting RFAs just to make note of? Tkachuk, okay, just pretty much Matthew Tkachuk. He wants 10 million. UFAs here. Malkin wants 9.2. He has 2 teams interested. Bergeron wants 8 now. No one's interested in him. Olofsson, he has 1 guy interested at 12.6. What kind of season did he have last year? 37 goals, 15 assists. Okay, that's understandable. We're looking for wingers here, and the more I think about it, maybe Mike Hoffman doesn't get traded, but he was so bad that I want to trade him really, really badly. But here's the idea. Let's say Mike Hoffman plays third line with Rossi, or even second line left wing with Lindholm and Parise. Trying to think through possible lineup ideas here. Olofsson possibly fits the first line. I think that's a bit too expensive either way for us. So if we're just looking at forwards, we'll take a look at defense later on, but just at forwards for the moment, let's say just wingers as well, or just left wing, right wings, whatever. James Schwartz is up there, a sniper who fits the second line. Ooh, that's interesting. James Schwartz fits the second line. Injury prone in the real world, but seems to play all 82 last year, 81 the year before. That's tough. And over on the right wing category, who's here? Radulov's out here. Fits the second line possibly. Ilya Mikheyev fits the first line possibly. No really guarantees out here. Phil Kessel, we know he fits our third line, right? Yeah, Phil Kessel fits the third line. Not bad. Rust fits the third line as well. Nino Niederreiter could come back. Fits all forward lines, all power play, and all penalty kill. Oof, that's a big statement right there. That is a big statement. Last season, Niederreiter had 50 points. If we could get Niederreiter and Schwartz for left and right wing on the second/third line, that's really interesting stuff. I love Phil Kessel, but he is 5 years older and wants $2 million more. But he wants less years, because Niederreiter wants 3.5 for 6 years. If I go down to 3-4 years, he's wanting around $4 million, which isn't as cheap as we thought. Phil the Thrill still puts up the goals, though. Simulates great. 32 goals from him. Put him on the right line. Maybe he could rejuvenate himself. And let's take a look at defense as well. If we want a third pair D-man, someone around 81, 82, who doesn't cost this much. 2 points. Michael Kempney, Calvin DeHaan, someone in this category, Ben Sherratt. If he's playing with Merrill as a defensive defenseman, I'd prefer two-way or offensive. DeHaan would be a good one. Calvin DeHaan as an offensive defenseman playing with John Merrill. He fits the top 4D, not the third pair. Other offensive defenseman, Gustav Forsling. Not sure about whether he fits or not. Wow, a lot of possibilities. Sami Vatanen wants 5.8. What did he do after we traded him away to the Rangers? 26 points in 68 games, and he wants 5.85 million. Honka ended up going to free agency as well. So I think I'm going to try and give DeHaan a contract. Even if he doesn't fit the line perfectly, it would be good for chemistry. So I'm going to try DeHaan as the guy who would play with John Merrill in the third pair. We still don't know how much growth we'll have from other guys, but let's try to send him a contract, even just 1 year, because Merrill's on last year's deal as well. No teams are interested. It's not the end of the world if he says no, so I'm going to try like 1 year, 2.425 for 1 year. But back to the forwards. Oof, that's really grinding my brain over here. Because the first line's Kaprizov, Monahan, Greenway. Second line is Fiala, Lindholm, Parise. Third line could be Boldy, perhaps, Rossi, and then you need a third line winger. So you might not need two wingers on the third line. You might just need one if Boldy's ready to go. And then fourth line, you need everybody. But who's that third line winger going to be? It's between, if it has to be a right wing, maybe we could take out the left wings if Boldy's there. But it really depends. Is Boldy there? And I think James Schwartz is too good to be on the third line. So I think I've made my decision. I've narrowed it down to between Phil Kessel and Nino Niederreiter. It would be nice to bring Nino Niederreiter back to Minnesota, where he pretty much started his career after coming over from the Islanders. Had a lot of good season with the Wild. Had many good seasons before going over to the Hurricanes for the last 4 seasons here. And it is enticing, and it says he fits all 3 bars. He fits all forward, all power play, all penalty kill. Phil Kessel, we know he fits the third line. It also says all power play, so it's kind of a wash, because if Niederreiter fits all forward lines, but I'm just playing him on the third, it doesn't really matter. I could go like 4 years, $4 million on Niederreiter, or 2 years, 250 on Kessel. It's not the money, it's just who's better. For the cheaper price tag, plus the ability to play up and down the lineup, as Hobbsy said, just put it to the assistant GMs in the Discord server here, that's big, because I was just thinking about the third line, but although he won't be playing mostly anywhere but the third line, there's still injuries or even issues with plus minuses where people need to move up, down, demoted, promoted. So being able to move up and down the lineup and not exclusively fitting the third line is huge if the scouting report is correct. So maybe something like a 3-4 year deal is probably optimal. 4, he wants a bit cheaper at 3.9. It's a fair amount cheaper. It's 350k cheaper. There's no one interested in him, so that's my issue though. Because if I offer him 3 years, that means I got to go like 4.5 to make sure he gets signed. But if I go 4 years, I can go up to that 4.1 sum to make sure that he gets signed. So I think I'll go 4 years, although he probably won't stay on this team for 4 years. We'll try 4 years at, I think, just 4 million, a 4x4 for Nino Niederreiter, as opposed to 3 for 4.3. We'll go 4x4 for Nino. So I think that's the offer right there. We'll send it out and see what Nino has to say. So with Nino Niederreiter given that contract, we got the defenseman sent out as well, the contract for him. So goalies here. Now we're thinking about goalies. There was a big name in free agency, and that, wow, there definitely are big names. Darcy Kemper wants a lot of money, coming off of a Vezina Trophy win. Ilya Shesterkin is an unrestricted free agent who wants 7.4 for 7 years. The thing is, he doesn't simulate very well usually. He's coming off a very good season, which is pretty surprising actually. 32, 20, and 7, 913 save percentage, 2.48 goals against average. But we don't really want. I don't want to sign someone for 7 years. I don't want a guy like Holtby. I don't want someone who's at 88 who's going to be getting an 890 save percentage and making me pull my hair out, right? So if I were to get anyone on this list, it would probably either be Corey Crawford or Mackenzie Blackwood. The medium starter potential is nice. Aside from that, maybe Lundqvist or Fleury. But I don't think that's enough to make me can Elvis just yet. It's good that there are a lot of possibilities. I'm sure these guys will get signed to cheap contracts, so they could be traded for, or even some will stick around in free agency. But I don't think we'll do anything aside from that. We got the winger signed up, we got the defenseman signed up, now we just got to work on the bottom 6. So we'll start with the center for the bottom 6, well, for the fourth line that is, specifically. We're looking for a fourth line center, 81 overall or less, let's say. So Blake Coleman's first. Roope Hintz. I love Roope Hintz. He has third line chemistry though, top 6 potential. He might start to grow a little bit. Janmark was always great on our, was it the Buffalo Sabres franchise mode? I believe it was. Not really a center though, with 70 overall on the face-offs. Not really a center. Bluger, Spezza, Benino, get out of here. Nick Cousins. I like Nick Cousins. Depth fits the top 6 forward lines and all the power play. Travis Zajac, the face-off king, doesn't fit the line. So I'll have to do some research here, and I'll get back to you when I have a center idea. Alright, so I've done some extensive searching in the player finder through attributes and line fit and player type, and I've come to some conclusions. 2 players I'm going to look to re-sign are former Minnesota Wild players that we have had in the past. So first off, on the fourth line, for the wing, I'd like to get Josh Lievo. I know he didn't do much here, but that's because he was scratched / sent to the minors. He didn't have much of a chance. He only played 59 games and had 11 points. Not bad, but then he was sent to Iowa for the rest. We traded him to Washington for a pick where he did well, but I'd like to give him another chance. He's a good two-way forward. We got him in the trade from Calgary, so I'd like to bring him back. He has a bottom 6 forward line fit as a two-way forward. I wanted to go for 3 grinders, but there weren't 3 grinders who fit the chemistry, so I'd rather go for 2-way forwards who fit a bit better. So it's really not going to be a long-term thing. We don't know how long these guys are going to stick, so I wouldn't want to give him 2 years, $2 million. I'm much more content giving him 1 year at 1.250. The other forward who's already been on this team, we're going to bring in at center. Ironically, the only player who seems to fit is Fred Gauthier as a fourth-line center. He didn't want to come back, but now it looks like he will be. He played the last few seasons, only 4 games for us in the last 2 seasons in the NHL. The rest of the time he's been in the AHL, but he had 1 goal in the 4 games that he did play. He's a good centerman with 83 faceoffs. He's has good defensive stats, good physical rating. So I'm going to try to bring him back on a 1-year deal at $1.1 million. And for the other wing on the right or the left, not sure where, it's a brand new player, someone that we had over in the Anaheim Ducks series in NHL 20, and that is Kiefer Sherwood. He is listed as someone who fits in the bottom 6 forward lines, two-way forward. He's not necessarily really crazy good at any specific attribute, but he seems like a pretty solid player. In the NHL, he had 19 points and a +1 last season with Colorado, the season before 15. So he always did well for us on the Ducks, so I'd like to bring him back. That would be nice. Puljujärvi's here, by the way. He is an RFA, but Puljujärvi's here in free agency. Unfortunately, that wouldn't really work for us because we don't know where he fits, plus it wouldn't make sense to put him on the 4th line. So Kiefer Sherwood is our man, but just to say that there's interesting options over in free agency. 1 year at 0.950, and we'll see where it goes from there. So that's now 5 contracts offered. Hopefully that's a new 4th line for us, new 3rd pair D, and Nino Niederreiter. So we'll begin simulating. We'll get the scouts signed on, the coach, all that good stuff. And then we'll have to see, John, no, I'm not going to do that. And then we'll have to see how we're looking come the beginning of preseason. Popovich says, I don't feel like the size of your team's market is what I'm looking for, so I will decline. So that's cool. I'll have to send him another offer. More scouts are signing on. No one has declined thus far, so it seems like all 11 will be on board. All right, here you go, Popovich, 7.5 million. He was gonna resign for like 5 when he was on our team, and now 2 days later he says I don't like the market size. So okay. Josh Lievo is on board. I like the fact that I can take on a leadership role in your team based on my skills. Okay, welcome, Josh. Nino Niederreiter, there's a big one. I was extremely happy to accept your offer. Cash offer was most generous. Welcome back to Minnesota, Nino, a fan favorite. Who else? Calvin DeHaan. I was quite clear in what I was looking for regards to duration. He didn't want the 1-year deal, but he did not sign elsewhere. So we can try again with Calvin DeHaan. And Kiefer Sherwood and Fred Gauthier both on board. Love it. Back in free agency now, still a ton of money with us, 16.155 million. Olofsson's demands have gone down a little bit. Bergeron, still no one looking at Patrice Bergeron. But yeah, we're not going to make any hasty moves just yet. As we're going to scroll down to who we can get on that third pair. I wanted the offensive defenseman. Sami Vatanen does not fit. We're not going to take him. But if Calvin DeHaan doesn't want to come by, then we might have to go for a two-way defenseman. But DeHaan's still around and nobody's interested in him. So you know what? I'm going to go back to the 1-year deal, but I'll give him more money. Since we have a lot of money, I'm going to go 1 year, 2.750 for DeHaan. So maybe he'll accept that shorter duration with more money. Is Popovich coming here as well? What? I offered the guy 7.5 million. I want to thank you kindly for your offer. It was a fair proposal, but I've decided to sign somewhere else. Are you kidding me? The guy wanted 5 million. I offer him the contract when he's on my team, and because of the glitch, it says, "Oh, sorry, I can't sign. You don't have the budget." I wait till July 1st. Then I offer him another contract, $1 million more. Oh, I don't like the size of your market. Okay. I then offer you 7.5 million, like 2.5 more than you were going to be making. And you said, "Oh, it's a fair proposal, but I'm going to go somewhere else." Who are we going to sign now? That could mess up a lot of line fits. This could be a big game changer for us. I can't even hire anybody because I don't know yet. Man, that could be a game changer right there. That could be a game changer. Let's see what DeHaan says. Okay, DeHaan signs the 1-year deal. At least there's that. Cash offer was most generous. No problem. If I could dump Hoffman, that would be great. I don't know if anybody wants Hoffman. Buffalo Sabres want Hoffman. They have the salary to take it as well. See, they don't. If I go to Trade Finder, it says nothing. But could I dump Mike Hoffman to Buffalo for a 6th-round pick just to get him out of my hair? Not even. 7th-round pick for Mike Hoffman. Still rejected. Not in the right ballpark, let alone city. Really, huh? With the 7th, man. Wow. That's not going to happen. All right, Mike Hoffman's going to be buried in Iowa, I guess, for the rest of his contract. I don't know, whatever. That's really frustrating. I don't know what to say. Sim to next season. All right, we're now here at the beginning of the preseason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, edit the lines to what I would like them to look like, and then go and find a coach that has a good team fit with those lines. And hopefully we can find someone who is identical to the same likes and dislikes and whatever preferences that Popovich had. So honestly, this is really disconcerting. This was the last thing that I thought was going to be an issue this offseason, and it just was an absolute bomb. So really not happy with the Coyotes, not happy with Popovich. I don't know what to say. This is how I'd like the lines to look. I think Parise bounced from an 82 up to an 85, so that's why he's found himself back on the first line. I thought we were going to do something like this, but if Parise is an 85, may as well keep him up there. Monahan, Kaprizov an 89. Love it, but now Kaprizov's line fit is not as good as it was with this new coach. Fiala, Lindholm, Greenway on the second line. Lindholm had a fantastic second line fit. Now it's just okay, I guess. Greenway, he fits better everywhere, to be honest, which is nice. He could fit with anywhere on the team. That's one of the good things. Fiala seems to fit on the first line best. Boldy does not fit anywhere really super well, except maybe the first. Marco Rossi at an 82 overall. I think it is safe to start him off on third line center. If he does improve, we can put Lindholm up here, Greenway onto the first line, Parise down to the third line, something like that. But at the moment, we'll keep Rossi there. And for his line fit, it seems okay for the top 9. Niederreiter, who was supposed to fit in our entire lineup, now he fits more in the top 6 than anywhere. So in the third line is not a big help. Fourth line, Lievo, he does fit the fourth. Gauthier fits the fourth, and Sherwood as well. So I guess that's okay. So +1s all the way up and down the lineup. Not bad. This coach has a 65% team fit, but it could have been better, especially on this first line. It should be a +3 with Kaprizov, Monahan, and Parise. Defense, Suter, Murray +3, Botter, Sergachev +1, Dahan, Merrill +1. Sergachev's up to an 88 overall. Botter's at an 81. It would be nice to do this, but +1-0 is not optimal, so I guess we're going like that. Yeah, not really happy with that either. On the special teams, this is a big hit on the special teams. Only a +1 on the first unit power play, no matter what we do. So +1, +3 on the 2 units of the power play. Not great. Penalty kills a +3 on the first unit, which is nice. 0 on the second. It's, we can definitely work with that. But it's just not what we wanted here. Merzlikins backed up by Peterson. Scratches, we gotta get some better scratches, I think, over in free agency. AHL looks like this. We could probably get some better players from the AHL. Hoffman just down there on the first line. No one wants him. I'm not going to be pressured into putting him into the lineup after he scored 11 goals last season. I don't even know where he would go. I'd rather have Boldy grow. He says he's a third-line scoring forward. I'd rather have him grow as a third liner than put him on the fourth and have Mike Hoffman in here. So yeah, not what we wanted. I'm really, really put off by that. I was not expecting any issues. So Robichaud is now the new coach here. Pierre Robichaud. A+ on teaching, which is great. A- on influence. A+ on the power play. He has that 65% team fit, which is okay. It's just not what we wanted. Staff chemistry is at 83%, which is nice. No goalie coach. I don't know. Sometimes hiring a goalie coach makes the chemistry worse, so I don't know if it's worth it to hire a goalie coach. You guys can let me know your thoughts on if we should hire a goalie coach or not. I'm going to get a better AHL coach. And, yeah, man, I guess we'll simulate through the preseason. I'm going to send out the scouts and work on the first scouting report, but I'll be back in a second to simulate through the preseason. It's just so frustrating with the coaching. It's like, it's unrealistic. Like, you would make your off-season moves with your coach, your GM and the coach, you're in harmony together, knowing what's going to work, who fits your lineup, whatever. I get all the people to fit his lineup, and then he just dips on us. So that's, I don't know. I don't know what to say. And for anyone saying I should have, like, reopened the save file or something, I did. I tried to do that. I offered him more and more money. He never took the contract, so it's just he didn't like the makeup of Minnesota, even though he was about to re-sign with us if the glitch wasn't there in the offseason for the budget. All right, scouting's all set. As you'll see here, a lot better scouts here in terms of their overall, a lot more A's and B's. Before we just had like 1A, 1B, and the rest being C's. So yeah, still a bit shaken about what happened, but let's start off the preseason here and see how we do with this coach and with this chemistry. Yeah, of course, the coaching is always a mess in the AHL, so I gotta fix that. In free agency here, by the way, Alex Radulov, still a free agent. He has 4 teams interested in him, though, so I don't think it would be someone that we'd go after for sure. Popovich is still the last guy that we have scouted for, so no point in even thinking about that. Turris, Broussard. Steen would not be bad for depth here. Steen only wants 0.750 now. Nice veteran presence, so you know what? Not bad. 80 overall for the depth. I will take Alex Steen. 1 year at 0.750. Bang. And for defense here, Capobianco is probably the guy to go for. He has medium top 4 potential. Doesn't mean much, but for 79 overall, 90 stick checking? Yeah, why not? Capobianco, welcome aboard. Depth for this season. That means we can send down the other 2 guys who we had for depth. I don't think there's really anyone crazy over here who we could have gone for instead, so I'm happy with that. And for goaltending, no one really crazy available. Aiden Hill's here, medium starter potential, so just to make you all aware of that. Dupre, new coach on the Iowa Wild. We'll see how that affects the chemistry in just a second. Another loss there, 2-0 and 2-1 in the first 2 games of the preseason. Steen and Capobianco both on board. Wonderful. All right, lines look like this in the AHL with those changes made to the coaching. Defense looks like this. We still got Addison and McCoshen playing that first pair for the +5. Hopefully Addison continues to grow. He's been playing. This is going to be his 3rd season, I believe, in Iowa with the +5. Yeah, he's done well so far, offensive defenseman. I really want him to make the NHL. Yeah, Hunter Jones starting for the Wild there. Okay, so we're going to continue on through the preseason. Not looking great thus far, to be honest. That's a 3-1 loss. That is really not looking hopeful for the season. 3-1 win against the Hawks at least. Everyone wants John Merrill and Calvin DeHaan. I've gotten a trillion trade offers through the entire offseason now. 6-0 win, okay. And then against the Jets, we finish off with a 2-1 win. All right, so 3-3-0 in the preseason. We go 0-3 and then 3-0. Jordan Greenway, 5 assists in 6 games. Doesn't look like anyone ran away with the point totals there, as he got 5. Kaprizov, Monahan, Lindholm, Parise, 4. Suter, Fiala, Rossi, 3. Then after that, all 1s. And then 0s for Niederreiter. Yikes, 0 for him. 0 for Boldy. 0 for Sergachev. Oh, no. Elvis, what did you do? Elvis was great. Yeah, Elvis was great. It was the scoring. Scoring was not there, and that does not bode well because the chemistry, that first line is supposed to be killing it with the +3. But without Popovich, that is really, really scary stuff. So we could still make a change to the coaching. We don't need to commit to Robichaud here. Robichaud. He has a 65% team fit, like we said. This is how he likes everybody. He likes Kaprizov and Monahan and Parise to a certain extent, but not as much as Popovich did. Maybe we look for a coach, even though he doesn't have the team fit, that he really likes those guys. So I hate that this episode's going so long, but now I need to show you coaching options. And hopefully we can find someone who fits better. Maybe this guy would probably be a bit better for that first line chemistry. That's it for the head coaches. After that, it goes down to the associate coaches. So we'll just fly through some of these. Pretty much just take a pause if you see something interesting. But I'm not going to pause it unless it's like at least 60-some% team fit. That's it, actually, for the associate coaches. Then the assistant coaches. You have to hire an assistant coach. Ugh. 58, 59, 63, 67. So this guy at 63 likes Kaprizov and Monahan and Parise pretty well. This guy likes him even more. Miles Redenbach, that's funny. With Leon Botter, Redenbacher, and then Redenbach, the head coach. That's pretty funny. He likes Lindholm a lot. This is interesting. He likes Lindholm a lot as well, which is good for the second line chemistry. The thing is, he doesn't really like Greenway or Rossi or Botter that much, but that's just where they're playing. Maybe Miles Redenbach is the option. This guy's also 67, Jonas Randall. Is there any difference between Randall and this guy? I think he likes Rossi and Boldy a bit much. Okay, so maybe Jonas Randall is the guy that we go for. Yeah, he likes Parise. Really loves Parise. But yeah, same for Kaprizov and Monahan. Same, actually a little bit less than Redenbacher. A little bit less for them. So it's between Randall and Redenbacher, I think. This is how it looks down here for Redenbacher. And this is how it looks down here for Redenbacher. Interesting. This is where I'm really going to need your help. Unless there's anybody else that's interesting. 63% there. No. Another 63. 69. Sorry, 63 for this guy. Don't want to jump over him. Jamie Wisniewski. I saw him. I didn't sign him because of what happened because of that fit with Lindholm. That's why I stayed away from him. But he loves Greenway, loves Murray, and has high fits for most players. So maybe Wisniewski's good. He likes these guys down here as well. So it's between Wisniewski at 69 and Redenbach and the other guy, Jonas Randall, at 67. It's between those three coaches, I think. This guy, he likes Monahan and Suter. And then a lot of 50s, 60s. This guy looks okay. But I don't think any of these guys are any better than the guys at 67 or 69. 65 for this guy, Cohen. 67 for both. These guys are identical. Shane Dingle and Leon Aho. So we could just decide if it came down to one of these guys, it would be who has the better rating for ratings, but not the same team. They have the same team fit, so it would come down to these things. Would probably be Dingle, actually, if we signed either of those guys. So, okay, those are the 67s right there. 65 for this guy. Likes Monahan and Suter. A lot of people like Monahan and Suter. 65 for this guy. 65 for this guy. They look identical. 65 for this guy. 65 for this guy. Another 65 for this guy. A lot of 65s. Another 65 for that guy. 65 for this guy. Gilbert Parenteau, and that's it. Alright, there's all the coaching options. So I think it comes down to those three guys if we're to change from Robichaud. So yeah, I really look forward to hearing your thoughts. Also, just to note that heading into this season, the expiring contracts are all of these. Pretty much just Monahan and Merrill. Monahan's the only one I really, really want to get back. Expensive deal at the moment, so do we want to sign him for 7 years now, or do we want to wait and hopefully the demand goes down? It also could go up. John Merrill, probably just let him go. I don't know, maybe. Wants like something like $2 million. Not the end of the world if we did let him go. And Hunter Jones would be wanting 0.750. You could give him a one-way deal for 8 years and give him like 0.875. That would be interesting. Let me know if you want to see where players ended up going. I'll just look at Patrice Bergeron here. He ended up signing with the New York Islanders, and he is still at an 89 overall. His trade value has dropped. He signed 1 year, 6.77, even though I was offering him, like, what did I offer him? The last deal I offered him, 6.5, or wasn't it 6.7? Whatever, Patrice. So I'll go ahead and end it there. It's already long enough of an episode. We got a surprise in the draft, drafting 8th overall. Aside from that, I'm sad that we didn't get to draft really anywhere else. In free agency, we made some moves depending on the coach, but then the coach just got up and left. So, man, really frustrating. We're going to have a big rivalry with the Coyotes now. I don't know what else to say, guys. I'm really sorry that happened, but I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts. I hope that's everything that you need to make informed decisions on what we got to do. I guess Hoffman's staying buried in the AHL. Line's pretty much looking like this. We got some good scratches. Goalies, I think Elvis is ready to take back the reins. But the special teams as well. I think we got to get a new coach. I totally forgot to make this guy the head coach. I gotta go redo the AHL lines. Okay, that's all fixed in the AHL. +1, +3 in the top 6, +5, +1, +1. Special teams got a nice boost as it's +3, +1, and penalty kill +5 and 0. Just trying to get the growth for everybody. Sorry about that. Coaching is fixed now. So what I'm trying to say was about the coaching chemistry, the staff chemistry. Do we hire a goalie coach? If that hurts the chemistry, do we fire him? Do we try to hire one anyways? I've seen different instances where having a goalie coach hurts the chemistry, and then when you fire him, it goes up. So would it really make a difference if we hired a goalie coach? I don't really know. But Show has really good stats for most things. Maybe need someone who has better offense-defense stats, because none of our coaches really have good offense-defense stats. Nothing beyond like a B-. But I will hire a goalie coach for the AHL at the very least. I don't think I'm going to bother showing you any of the other teams' trade blocks because we're not necessarily really looking to make any trades because our lineup's pretty set. But if there are any big names, I'll show you right now. Jack Quinn on the block in Buffalo. Esa Lindell in Dallas, Dougie Hamilton, Chris Letang, and Adam Larson, all defensemen on the block in Detroit. Definitely shouldn't have signed Dougie that huge contract. My goodness. Anton Lundell in Florida, a bunch of prospects in LA, Shea Weber in Montreal, Pajot on the Islanders, Subban on the Flyers, who just got signed to a 4-year deal at 8.2, okay. A lot of big names in Pittsburgh, Lindholm, Ekholm, Jankowski, Vlasic, Matheson, and Dumoulin all on the block for the Penguins. Kulak on the block in San Jose. Come on, Kulak, I offered you 1.5, you refused it, and now you're getting paid 0.78, and you're going to be like a healthy scratch on the trade block. Yeah, very smart. Krug, Falk, and Schultz all on the block for the Blues. And that is just about it. So a lot of good defensemen on the block, I would say, in general. But we'll end it there for real, for real. Thanks so much for watching. Please let me know all your thoughts, whether it be in the YouTube comment section below or in the Discord server. Link in the description for that, as well as the links for everything else that you'll need. So I look forward to hearing how we're going to make sense of this mess here after this offseason. But thanks for bearing with me, and I'll see you in the next one for the beginning of year number 3.